Hello, the Chelsea fans. How you doing? You're welcome to the channel. So, Chelsea state of play. Lots of things have been going on with Chelsea. First of, where do we start? Of course, we start with transfers, and we start with outgoing. So, we have Renato Veiga. Chelsea have agreed a deal for him to join Galatasaray on a permanent deal for a deal worth about £29.5 million. And incidentally, that is, what I say, is it record breaking? Or yeah, it will be a record breaking transfer figure for Villarreal. So that's just boosting into perspective when it comes to what clubs spend. So good move ultimately for him. He gets to play. He'll be the number one guy, first name on the team sheet, that type of thing. So I think for him that's very good. It's just a shame that for some reason it didn't quite work out at Chelsea. Because I felt like it should have really worked out at Chelsea because he fit the profile age-wise. He has the physicality. Obviously, he's got the pace to play that centre back position. He's got the versatility to play as left centre back, as a left back as well, and as a wide left centre back with some new thing that has been introduced recently by the likes of Pep and Enzo Maresca, Arteta, and the likes of new coaches. So slightly disappointed that it didn't work out, but overall, I think at this point in time, it's good. He leaves with 9.5 million euros, so about 25 million pounds. So fair play that he indeed left, because his head is gone. Maresca doesn't seem to value him for whatever reason. There's some people that have been overly critical of Renato Veiga. Some Chelsea fans have been overly critical of Renato Veiga. Saying, the way he behaved, he was impatient. But when you're not being played, what are you going to do? You're going to leave at the end of the day. So fair play is gone. And hopefully he gets as much success as he can get at Villarreal. So top marks, that's done and dusted. I wonder what you think, what your thoughts and opinions are on Renato Veiga leaving Chelsea. Are you one of those who are thinking probably he could have been replacement for Colwill, given that Colwill is out injured? Probably he could have done the job, but right now I want people at Chelsea that have their heads 100% at Chelsea at this minute, because you don't want players that at the club that once things go difficult or become tough at some point, they would grumble and want to leave, because right now his head is gone. So fair play in that regard, he is gone. And then speaking about players that their heads have gone, I don't quite know what's wrong with Wesley Fofana. I don't understand what it is. He removed everything on his IG, Instagram handle that had to do with Chelsea. And in this present time, this day and time, once you do that, what usually happens is it draws attention to you. Are you unhappy with the club? Are you unhappy with what's happening with you? Are you thinking of leaving? So that's one question I want to ask. Who advises him? And then, of course, you've had talks about there are other people who manage accounts, which that's not news. That's not a new thing, because I think every sort of footballer, celebrity, popular person that's in the public eye, usually sometimes they'll have a management team. Sometimes they'll have someone that's assigned that has the social media skills and awareness to actually manage their manage their Instagram account and there are other public facing social media sort of handles and profiles. So a bit odd. So either way, even if you have someone who's a professional, who's a third party, whether it's a company or individual that is managing Wesley Fofana's, Instagram handle, you kind of wonder, why would you at this time remove everything concerning Chelsea from it? We've got some reports to say there's nothing wrong, or there's no acrimony or beef between Chelsea and Wesley Fofana. So I think that's good to hear, but it still does remain strange. Now, there's something I want to address, because it seems like anytime something goes wrong with a player, if a player misses a penalty, if a player, wants to leave the club, if a player has any sort of issue with the manager, people like to go to this direction. I wonder why. Why should that always be the thing? Now, this whole racist insults that he's been receiving, I wonder why people do that. I wonder why. Anytime they say it's minor, there's only a tiny minority, but I just think that's disgraceful. That's just absolutely disgraceful for every person that's gone to his social media profile, sent him a message, dropped the comments, that has any sort of slaw or insult for me just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it is very, very wrong because it's 2025, and I have to say, I have to come on here and tell people whether that is a wrong thing to do. It's just not acceptable. It's just not acceptable whatsoever, my opinion. So, talking about Veiga, happy with him leaving. For me, I'm at peace with it, not overly ecstatic, not throwing any parties anytime soon about it, but I'm happy. I'm okay, I'm comfortable with him leaving. So that means just Archie Ampon gets more game time. I hope Aaron Anselmino does get some game time as well. And then speaking about transfer still, have to talk about Xavi Simons. Now there's a talk that Xavi Simons, it has been rumbling. He joined Chelsea, he's rejected Bayern, he's rejected other clubs, and he just won Chelsea. So now that's all well and good. And for me, I've been a bit skeptical, saying, what if Chelsea delays so much and he's under pressure and he receives a bid from another Champions League club, since he is not even like a core Chelsea fan, he's just someone who has an agreement with the club and wants to come. So fair play to him. We've heard that after the Bayern Munich game, probably he'll join Chelsea, and then you get it. Here we go. So fair play in that regard. For me, I'm super excited for Xavi Simons right now, more than any winger, more than any signing that will come in right now. We heard talks of Garnacho. I will talk about that later, but I'm more excited about Xavi Simons coming. So the talk is that after he plays a game versus Bayern Munich in the German Bundesliga, he would then move over to join Chelsea. So happy days if that indeed turns out to be true. Because for me, I feel he comes in and provides one cover for Cole Palmer if you're primarily playing a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 with a single 10. Then if you switch over and say you want to play a 4-3-3 narrow where you're playing with 3 10s, he comes in, he becomes the third player in there. Cole Palmer plays as the more central of the 10, and then you have Ceballos playing as the 10 down the right, and then you have your 3 10s. So he provides someone that would allow Cole Palmer time to rest, someone that would bring tactical flexibility into the team. And people have been going on about him being a winger. He's not a winger. The thing I think some people think is that when you're a 10, you just stand behind the striker. You just move in a straight line. You don't shift either way. So super happy if and when that deal comes true. So let me know your opinions on possibly Xavi Simons joining up with Chelsea. For me, super excited. Let's see how that all shakes down as well. Then I have to talk about a bit of other news as well that we're talking about. Bournemouth possibly interested in Disasi. I think fair play. He's one of the ones that we know is not going to play at the club. He's going to leave. So it's best you sell him off as quickly as possible. I think it has been left a bit late, but better late than never. So Bournemouth coming in for him. If that deal comes through, be happy he's gone. And the thing for me is he is not even really a bad player. That's the thing with Disasi. He's just fallen prey or victim to the system. It just doesn't suit Enzo Maresca's system, in my opinion. He's more of an orthodox, old school defender, a central centre back, an actual centre back. Stay in front of the goalkeeper, protect that defensive line, play in that low block, put your tackles in, be brave on the ball. The sort of things. But he's not really that sort of person who you look at to say, okay, he's going to play that high line. He's going to sometimes be like a wide right centre back or anything of the sort. So that sort of thing. So for me, I just think it's fair that he leaves, goes to Bournemouth. I hope everything works out well for him there. I hope he has as much success as he can have. But obviously, when Chelsea play Bournemouth, then he doesn't have as good a game as other days. So fair play, in my opinion, 100%. And then as well, now want to also mention, and just to mention as well, he's going to be, if the move works out, he's going to be teammates with Petrovic. So that's fantastic. So fair play in that regard. Now we also have to talk about Christopher Nkunku. There's a lot of interest around him. RB Leipzig just recently posted a video of him, and that was a bit strange for me because usually you don't see clubs, you don't see teams posting videos of their former players. Like you don't go around posting pictures of your ex now, do you? Except maybe there's some reconciliation plans in the works. You're trying to get back. So maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe they're planning to, maybe there are plans to get back. Obviously, their interest still remain in him, but it's just that they don't have Champions League football. So maybe that's been sort of a drawback, and maybe the ability to afford his salary, meet his salary and wage demands. So that may be another challenge as well. But they've always been interested in him. And, Chelsea and RB Leipzig have been willing to do a deal, sort of a facilitatory deal. That's what I'll call it right now. Because back in the day, it used to be swap deals where you could just swap players and then maybe one side, i.e. Chelsea, for instance, could give 2 million, 10 million, 20 million, and then get Xavi Simons, and then Nkunku goes the other way. But now, because of FFP, PSR concerns, clubs now have to make sure that they have their books sort of settled. So Chelsea and RB Leipzig have all been interested in getting Christopher Nkunku go to RB Leipzig, and Xavi Simons joining Chelsea. So fair play if he does go there. He's another player that should have worked. He just should have worked. I don't know what happened with Maresca. I don't know if it's because he used to train Cole Palmer and he's just so used to him and he just wants Cole Palmer to be the only 10. I don't know. Or where Nkunku's head went to. Because for me, I feel like sometimes we don't get this. We just say, oh, he's not playing so well, out of the team, I don't want you in my club. But sometimes we have to remember these players are human. They are human. They have blood flowing through their veins. So when you play a player with 2 minutes to go, with 3 minutes to go, 10 minutes here, then you're always going to have the issue where the player feels like, I'm not going to play here. Especially, I've mentioned this a couple of times, players understand hierarchy. They understand the club, who is better than I am. Or this right winger is a better right winger than I am. Or Cole Palmer is a better 10 than I am. The coach likes him. So, but what players usually want is when that player is maybe injured or struggling in a game or is suspended, I should get the opportunity to show what I can do coming off the bench or starting that game if he's suspended or injured. Now, Nkunku or João Felix didn't get that opportunity, right? There are games few games I would say, where Cole Palmer was struggling. The Wolves game at Stamford Bridge, he was really struggling with injuries prior to the game, and in the game as well, he was really struggling. So João Felix didn't come on, Nkunku didn't come on. So if you're Nkunku and João Felix, you're looking to yourself and say, come on. So are you saying I'm so bad that Cole Palmer with half a leg is better than I am? So you have to go into the minds of the players. So once someone like Nkunku who get that sort of feeling, then he would want to leave. His mind will no longer be at the club. His head would be well and truly gone. And that's one of the only things that makes me just this little bit skeptical about the signing of Xavi Simons. Just this tiny wincy bit. If it's quality-wise, yes, he matches it, right? He's got the pace, he's got the skill, he's got the technique to play through the middle. Once again, he's not a winger. He's got all those attributes. Now, the only fear I have is Chelsea signed Xavi Simons, right? And Maresca, because he doesn't want to pair him up with Cole Palmer in a central role. He doesn't want to bench Cole Palmer every now and again, decides to play him as a left winger, and he struggles at playing as a left winger, and then everyone gets crazy. Everyone gets on his back. He no longer sees game time, and he will go down the same route again. So that's the only little thing that makes me a bit skeptical about Xavi Simons. Otherwise, when you talk about quality-wise, he's up there. He's up there quality-wise. So I have no issues in terms of Xavi Simons' quality. He's right up there. It's just Enzo Maresca. How are you going to treat this player? Because for me, if you're going to sign a player only to play him out of position, there's no need. Spend the money on the centre-back. Spend the money on, I don't know, a striker. If you're going to sign Simons and play him out of position, because that's just a waste of money. Also, I hope I'm sure the board have had interactions with Maresca and hope he's fully bought into who Xavi Simons is. And then, of course, for me, I don't know, it seems Badiashile is going to remain at the club, which is just odd to me because I think Disasi is a better defender than Badiashile, in my opinion. But when it comes, I don't know, somehow Enzo Maresca prefers him, so that's fine. So if you just join the stream, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video to people you feel will love content like this. So you're welcome to the channel. So first off, we talked about, Renato Veiga agreeing a deal to join Villarreal. Chelsea and Villarreal have agreed at 29.5 million euros, which is 25 million pounds. So he'll be joining Villarreal on a permanent deal. And Chelsea have a whooping 40%, 4-0, what's it called now? Sell-on clause. So for whatever Villarreal would sell Vega for, they would get 40. Chelsea would get 40% of it. And therefore, that also means in case he goes to Villarreal and absolutely smashes it out of the park and becomes one of the best defenders in La Liga, and Chelsea becomes interested in him, then that 40% sell-on clause, becomes really, really significant for Chelsea. So I think that was a good one for Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley to get in that agreement. So top marks for doing that one. We also talked about, Wesley Fofana, the post he put out there, or rather, the fact that he's removed everything concerning Chelsea from his Instagram profile, Instagram handle. For me, I find it a bit weird because, for one, you've not been fit. Wesley Fofana, you've not been fit. So you've been barely playing, and you should be thankful that Chelsea has not caught you, has not dropped you. Because usually some clubs will become so tired and say, okay, you're not even playing. Each time you come to play, each time we look at our team, you're not available. And they say the best ability is availability. So if you've not been available, we'll drop you or we'll sell you. But the club has been faithful to you and kept you on your books because obviously believe in your obvious talent. But you have not been playing, so you've not played enough to have any quarrel with the club. And also, you are earning, as in Wesley Fofana earns, high wages because he was one of the players that was signed by Todd Bowley, and Todd Bowley was dishing out those high wages like Raheem Sterling and the likes. So he has no reason to be complaining or to want out or anything. And then the other thing I talked about as well is you feel free to criticize the player. Like right now, I'm criticizing Wesley Fofana. Feel free, criticize him. I don't think what you're doing is right. You shouldn't have deleted everything concerning Chelsea from your, IG page and all that stuff. But with the ratio, with the flaws, why? Why do people feel like they have the right to do that? Why? What gives you the right to do that? What gives it, not you particularly watching this, but what gives people the right to feel like they can just go start insulting people like that? Why? You can't vent your frustrations without going down that route. That should not be your first point of action. That should not be anything you do at all. Because I see this anytime. A player misses a penalty, let's throw the flaws there. A player scores an own goal, let's throw a flaw there. You can disagree, you can disapprove without being that. Without being that, you can't. So for me, that doesn't make any sense. And for all those who masquerade as Chelsea fans to have gone to do that, you should be well and truly ashamed of yourself. But let's move on to other topics. We also talked about possibly Disasi joining Bournemouth. So fair play. Let's see how that shakes down. And then Kanu Chukwuemeka and Dortmund. Dortmund obviously have been interested in Kanu Chukwuemeka. But the thing with Bundesliga clubs and Italian clubs always like to plead the poverty amendment, always like to plead brokerage. I don't know why. When it comes to selling players, yeah, 80 million euros, 100 million euros, take it or leave it, 75 million pounds. Imagine Atalanta was able to sell Rasmus Højlund for 75 million euros to Manchester United. They had a 100 million euros buyout clause on Osimhen's contract. So But Dortmund, don't forget, Dortmund just sold Gittins to Chelsea. Is it for 60 odd or 50 odd million euros? But now to sign Kanu Chukwuemeka, they want to take him on an initial loan with an option to buy. For me, I just think that they play brokerage a lot. But what I think would happen, because right now the transfer window is gradually coming to a close, and club like Chelsea, that need to get sales done before you have any incomings, and they need to get sales done for FFP reasons and PSR reasons. I'm just thinking probably a loan agreement will be struck. A loan with a loan agreement. He goes on initial loan with an obligation to buy. Now, this is what I want Chelsea to do. If you're going to do a loan with obligation to buy, don't have any sort of penalty clause. Don't have any sort of clause that, if he doesn't play or something, or if the club doesn't want to meet the obligation, that if Dortmund doesn't want to meet the obligation, they can pay maybe 5 million euros or 8 million euros. No, obligation is obligation. Once the season is over, boom, you're signing him. Don't give that room. And I think it's fair for the player as well to leave, right? Because Kanu Chukwuemeka is a player I really like. I really rate him as well, but he has just been beset with injuries. Unfortunately, he has been beset with injuries, and he is another victim of Enzo Maresca just doesn't have faith in him. It happens. It happens sometimes. Coaches see something in the player. It happens both ways. A coach can see something in the player, and just have this super faith in the player. And we as fans could be complaining, why are you playing this player? Like for me, I keep complaining about Badashil, but there's something Maresca sees, obviously. You're complaining, why does the manager keep playing this player? Why does he keep playing this player? But he sees something that obviously we don't see as fans, watching from a distance. And then there are players that you see all the qualities in the world, the skill, the ability to glide past people, the ball shooting technique, ball striking technique, like for me, I see in Kanu Chukwuemeka, but for some reason, Maresca doesn't see it. So I think it's best for him to go, whether it's a loan with obligation to buy or an outright sale to a Dortmund, for instance. He goes there and plays and shines. And then, of course, Paule and Lowry could go in there and add maybe a 20% sell-on clause. So if he smashes it at Dortmund and maybe a Bayern comes calling, because Bayern, that the big brother of everybody in the German league, so they sign whoever they want to sign, and Bayern comes calling and wants to sign Kanu Chukwuemeka, you can get something from it. Or if he absolutely rips it out of the park and, Chelsea get interested, because he never can tell football is fickle, and fans are also fickle. Can you imagine Kanu Chukwuemeka going to Dortmund and maybe coming up with 15 assists and 13 goals? Some section of the fan base would be absolutely irate. Why did we even sell him? Bring him back. For sure that's going to happen. So either way, so whether you get some money back when he's sold, if it is Dortmund, or even for any reason you want to sign him back, then that would be helpful to have that in there. But I think right now he just has to go completely. And I think is one thing we as fans also consider is we do not look at these players from a human perspective. Sometimes we just say, "Oh, go on loan." Yeah, there are things involved in going on loan. Because sometimes when we hear that a player would rather prefer to be sold on a permanent basis than to go on loan, they say, "Oh, but you'd like to play. Wouldn't you like to play?" But we forget that when you send a player on loan, he still maybe has his family tied down, in London. Doesn't know when he's going, if or when the deal will be permanent. So his family will still be in the UK, and he probably would still be paying for stuff that he wouldn't be paying if he knew he was off permanently. If he was being so permanent to Dortmund, for instance, he can go with his family, go with everything else, and move permanently and be at Dortmund for 2-3 years. So that's things that we need to consider. So for me, I think Kanu Chukwuemeka should be fine to go, in my opinion. And then, of course, there's another person that we have to talk about. It came out of the blues. We weren't really expecting it, especially when Chelsea signed Liam Delap. We're expecting, okay, Liam Delap and him, Nicolas Jackson, will be the two strikers going forward. And then Chelsea went on, smashed it, signed João Pedro, and João Pedro is already building that relationship, with Cole Palmer. You can see it, even not just in play. In the Club World Cup, you saw the relationship they built, how they were connecting, linking up, and then even off the pitch during the celebration, see how they were all very charming. So someone like Nicolas Jackson, you're looking at it, and then you also see that there's Liam Delap already there. So you have two strikers. When people say stay and fight, if you have one striker ahead of you, you have game time to fight. You have game time where you can show what you can do. But when you have two strikers, if they're signed in one season, what we don't get is that when a player is signed in a season, say £30 million, 30 million pounds, £40 million, £60 million, that player, the coach is under pressure to play that player at least for that season. So the sporting directors, the chairman of the board, the ownership group, Player League, Luke, or whatever, can actually see what that player is all about, can say, okay, our return on our investment. So I get from a Nicolas Jackson point of view that he has to leave. Likes of Ornstein, likes of Fabrizio Romano have said it's kind of over, but he will be leaving. So they talked about Aston Villa being interested, but Aston Villa, they're just like Newcastle. They have money, but they can't spend money, and then they're a weird spot where they have to sell players before they can actually sign anybody. At Unai Emery, we know he's a fan of Jackson. He brought him to Villarreal, so maybe he could be keen to get him. But then the question is, you have Oli Watkins there. But on the flip side of things, if you just Oli Watkins, Nico Jackson can say, okay, I just have one striker to fight with, to prove myself against, as opposed to Chelsea where I have two strikers. So, and a manager that actually rates me, that knows how to use me. Don't forget, Jackson scored, was it 10 goals or so in about, was it 15 games, something weird like that towards the end of the season with Villarreal before Chelsea signed him. So maybe, just maybe, that's what he may be considering. So fair play. There are other clubs rumored to be interested. There's talk about Bayern Munich possibly being interested, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Out of all the clubs that are interested, I think Bayern Munich is about the only club that have the resources to go out there and sign Nico Jackson. So I think that's a good place you could go to. But then again, of course, you got Harry Kane. You're not even going to smell benching Harry Kane. No way, no way. Maybe the odd game he comes up, you come in for 20 minutes, or when they're playing the DFB Pokal game, that's the German Cup games, you could play, you could start, who knows. So that's a bit of a tough one as well. And there's AC Milan as well that could be interested in him. But now AC Milan, they've gone on to sign Nigerian striker Victor Boniface from Bayer Leverkusen. So does that open up an opportunity for him to go to Bayer Leverkusen? But then again, football is who do you know? And Eric Ten Hag knows Rasmus Højlund. So maybe he could be looking at bringing Rasmus Højlund to Bayer Leverkusen as opposed to bringing Nicolas Jackson. So touch on opinions on that one. Let me know what you think about Nico Jackson. Do you think there's any chance he does remain? For me, I don't think there's a chance he remains because, for one, he's going to be toxic. Because I've seen Nico Jackson just being subbed, and he sulks so much like a baby. And this is him being subbed when he's the main striker. So can you imagine Nico Jackson being on the bench and João Pedro comes off for Liam Delap, or Nico Jackson having to play 20 minutes in games, maybe in the cup game? He would absolutely go mental and would just be absolutely toxic. So I think he should leave. And this is a World Cup year as well. That's something we all forget with Nkunku as well. World Cup year, this French squad is usually very stacked. So he needs game time to actually be playing first team full-time football on a day-to-day basis, game in, game out, for Didier Deschamps to have sight of him. The same thing with Nico Jackson. He has to be playing steady football before to be in the good books of the head coach of the Senegalese team, because Senegal, that's stacked as well. That's super stacked. So you must be playing regular football, to make that team. So you get why he's got to go. And now they talk about Garnacho. Say Garnacho could be handy. Here we go soon, according to Fabrizio Romano. So let's see how that shakes down. I want to know what you think about all these various topics we've talked about. Now, I'll start with Garnacho. What do you think about Garnacho coming to Chelsea? You super excited about it? For me, I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm just getting used to. I'm trying to warm myself to not be overly upset if he joins Chelsea. And the way Bino Gittins has played, the way Jamie Bino Gittins has played, is kind of left the door open for someone like a Garnacho to come in. And I think Garnacho, whilst I don't rate him like a super needle mover, I see him as someone who's braver on the ball than Gittins. While Gittins is faster, in my opinion, has more pace than him. He's more brave. He's braver on the ball. He has more of an attitude on him. Has more of an edge. So I think he'll be braver on the ball. Whether or not his quality would absolutely come through and outshine Bino Gittins' quality, that is another issue for us to contend with. So let's see how that shakes out. And then speaking about that left wing thing, there was some news that just popped up, not from Fabrizio or David Ornstein, so it's not from a super credible source. But I was just thinking it's something we discuss as well. So they'll talk about Ademola Lookman being offered to Chelsea, but the way I see it right now, he's been offered to lots of clubs. He's been offered to Arsenal. He's been offered to several clubs. And it's a bit strange. Inter Milan have pulled out from the deal because they feel like they can't go higher than the offer they've made already to Atalanta, and Atalanta are making things really difficult for Ademola Lookman. And it's a bit surprising though, because Ademola Lookman is very good. Very good player, super consistent. 18 goals up a season. This season that wasn't that good. He didn't have the greatest of season, but he still gave you 15 goals and is it about 5 assists, so 20 goal contributions a season. So imagine getting that from your left wing. Imagine let's say the Premier League is more difficult or more challenging than the Serie A. Imagine Ademola Lookman at Chelsea scores 10 goals, 5 assists in the Premier League. So that's 15 goal contributions from a winger, well, essentially a winger. And he would have been someone who's more of an established player that would have come in, and given Bino Gittins time to actually mature, grow behind him, and learn how to, actually play that left wing role very well in the Premier League. But that's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen because right now his age, though his salary falls into sort of Chelsea wage structure, which is he earns about 44,000 euros a week. So let's say if you round it up, so 45,000 euros a week. So maybe Chelsea can even just double it up and it will still be well within, Chelsea's wage structure. But I don't think that's going to happen. He's just been offered to lots of clubs, and it's just a shame that things have turned out this way because I'm a big fan of Ademola Lookman. Obviously, my countryman as well. I just want him fit and ready to play in the World Cup. But that's it. It's just a challenge for him. So players, make sure you have the right agents around you. So that's it with him. And so we've talked about all this, but I want to know your opinions. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, share the videos who you feel will be interested in content like this, and let's get the numbers going on. And hopefully, come Friday, we could hit 200 subscribers on the channel. That would really be amazing. Let's get that going. Let's make that happen. I know we can make that happen. And now, obviously, we want to talk a bit about the West Ham game, but of course, we'll have an actual preview to that game. When you look at how Chelsea performed in the Crystal Palace game, who would you drop off that game? Who would you start in place of players that started? That is, if this team we have, if Garnacho doesn't come in, if Xavi Simons doesn't come in before that game on Friday, who would you be going with? For me, when I look at that team, Jamie Gittins, I'm sorry, I'm not being overly harsh. I'm not saying throw him away. I'm not saying don't ever play for Chelsea anymore. I'm just saying he has to start on the bench. I think Tyreek George has more tools than him, but if Enzo Maresca wants to go with the route of I want to go with experienced players, then Pedro Neto should start. I've said it time and time again. Pedro Neto is not a right winger. He just isn't. I know this is 2025 and every winger must play on the opposite side. Right-footed player plays on the left. Left-footed player plays on the right. But Pedro Neto He's not one of those. He just isn't one of those. Like, I just think that he is an orthodox left winger, head down, pace, go by line, put cross into the box, check in on your left foot, put the cross into the box. So that's what I feel. And I think Estevao Williams should start on that right hand side. He shows bravery beyond his years and he shows maturity, because a lot of times when you see Brazilian, wingers, forwards, they're all about themselves. Unfortunately, sometimes, not all of them, but when you see a lot of them, they want to do this skill, they want to dribble 5, 6, 7 players like you saw with Anthony at Manchester United. That's why he stunk up the place. But Esther Williams shows more maturity. I don't know whether it's because of the family he has around him or he's just his nature. That's what just makes him special either way. So sometimes he's willing to dribble, other times he's willing to just hold the ball, lay it off to a Palmer. So, and he's willing to take on his man, which is something that Bino Gittins, for some whatever reason, is afraid to do. Once he's doubled up on, Bino Gittins just, okay, I'm not going to try to go onto my right foot. He just fizzles out of the team. But Estevao Williams is always willing to go at his man. The only thing I want to say about Estevao Williams is this. Please, Enzo Maresca. Can you please, Enzo Maresca, give your wingers some help? Please give them some help. Lots of people show the clips of Estevao Williams dribbling past 2, 3 players. Good. But you don't want that to be every play, every possession, every time he has the ball, he has to dribble past 3 players. Because he will not last half the season. He needs help. Get Reece James. You may say you will invert Reece James. Fine. But every now and again, let him overlap. Maybe not, if he used to overlap normally 20 times in a game, let him overlap, say, 5, 6 times a day in a game, 7 times in a game. So you give someone like Estevao Williams breather. You keep him 1v1. That's what you want. You want him to be at the point where he is most possessions, he is 1v1, a fullback. And we know from what we've seen, if Estevao Williams is ever allowed to be 1v1 any fullback in this league, he is going to roast that fullback. He's absolutely going to stir fry that fullback, put the fullback on the frying pan and give him a good whiz, a good fry. So that's what we want to see. So for me, help this kid out. He's brave. He's willing to dribble. He's willing to be excited. So allow him to be excited. Enzo Maresca, in my opinion. And then when you look at the defense right now, Tosin, I hope he gets fit in time for the West Ham game. If he does get fit, I will go with Tosin and Josh Archiampong. Right now, that's who I will go with. And then Aaron Anselmino, and just the way he's being treated, I just suspect he'll go on alone. I don't want him to go on alone, but the way it is right now, the way it feels right now, I just think he will go on alone. It's a bit unfortunate for me because he is a highly rated centre back. The clubs like Real Madrid wanted, clubs like Barca wanted, and Chelsea were able to snag that deal. And so I don't understand why Enzo Maresca is acting up the way he's acting. And some people are like, oh, let him sit on the bench. Oh, let him go on loan. But then again, you remember Renato Veiga. He was all smiles. He was all happy to be at Chelsea until he wasn't getting game time. And I'll say this again. Players usually respect hierarchy. Like Aaron Anselmino, he would have come into Chelsea. He would have seen Colwill, appreciated Colwill, number 1 guy. Okay. And behind him, maybe Josh, as a Cobham graduate, is in front of me. Colwill is ahead of him. And behind Josh. And then Colwill unfortunately gets injured, does the surgery successful. Thank God for that. At least he's recovering. So this is my opportunity to have game time to see what I can do. So when that happens, and as a player, you don't get the game time, you don't get to play, then that just makes you feel like this coach doesn't like me. And once a player begins to think that it's personal, then that's the beginning of the player leaving that club. That's it. Once the player begins to think this is personal now, this coach really doesn't like me, then I need to be a shame if we let him go. Because the question I'll ask is then why did Chelsea sign Mamadou Sarr and loan him away just so that you can loan Aaron Anselmino? And people say this, oh, Strasbourg, Strasbourg, Strasbourg. Strasbourg is not a finishing school. It's also a club on its own. It's not a feeder team for Chelsea. Yes, it's a good partnership to have for Chelsea where you can send some players that they have game time, if they impress like Andre Santos, they can come back and join the club. But ultimately, they have their own goals as well. So right now, Strasbourg is like, a Ferrari. It's like a red Ferrari, and Chelsea are like a blue Ferrari owned by one person, which is the Clear Lake and Blue Co. So then, but the point I'm trying to make is you can't just keep sending players. There is also a limit at Strasbourg to the number of players they can have and they can register. So you can't just keep tossing players there. And if Aaron Anselmino doesn't go to Strasbourg and goes to some other club, you can't guarantee his game time. You can't guarantee his game time. And when you can't guarantee his game time, then it becomes this unfortunate situation where he gets to go to a club, gets done on the bench for seasons and just gets wasted. And I've seen some clips, I've seen some videos about him. Obviously, it's not like full-length matches, but you see he has the ability to play from the back. And the thing with South American players, just like African players, is all about confidence and belief. If you put your arms around, love the shoulders of these players, show confidence in them, whisper belief in their ears, they're ready to run through brick walls for you. But when you start sucking the confidence out of these players by playing them 2 minutes here and there, benching them, don't even think that they even exist, then you take their love for the game out of them, and then they can no longer perform well for you. So I know Enzo Maresca right now is doing this thing that managers do. I want new signing, give me new centre back, give me new centre back. We don't have any options. But right now, for me, I think Chelsea have options. You have Tosin, you have Josh, who's spectacular. And I think Josh Archiampong, he's made people a bit scared, I think. A lot of people were wanting him to play and struggle. But he's gone there and he's proven everyone that doubted him wrong. Of course, the people say he doesn't pass up from the back like Cole will, but he does things that Cole can do. I guarantee you, the ability to get that ball and drift and really move into positions half the way he does, Cole can't really do that. So what are you going to sign? You're going to sign Nkapie. Nkapie is going to be super expensive for someone you want to sign as someone to fill in the gap. So I just think use Josh, Bajashil, whatever it is. I don't think he's going to be loaned anywhere. He's going to be sold. So he's still at the club. So, and then Tosin is there, Chaloba is there. So I think that's it. The only defender I think that comes in right now that I would be super excited about is Antonio Silva. And the only way I would even be super excited about that is if that means you're packaging a Bajashil and a Disasi, maybe you add another 40 to 60 million pounds on it, and then you get Antonio Silva because you're getting top quality. So, but overall, we've have about different topics. So if you just joined the show, please thanks for joining, and thankfully you've subscribed to the channel. I'm super happy about that. Really, really appreciate that. Like the video as well because it does help with the algorithm to tell YouTube that you guys, Chelsea fans like me, really love this content. So we talked about Nkunku garnering interest from RB Leipzig. It was a funny one. I saw a video they put out there on X, about showing some goals he scored, which I think was a bit odd for a club to start showing videos of a former player. It's not his birthday. He's not won any Ballon d'Or or won any awards, so it was a bit weird that they put the video out there. Except that's a sign that they're about to hit to make an offer, or maybe they've already been in discussions with Chelsea and the deal is just being kept on the wraps. Maybe that's it. So those opinions on Christopher Nkunku, joining RB Leipzig, for me, I think is a fair deal. If you can go there, I know the only thing that you may talk about is salary demands and things like that. You may also talk about Champions League football. But at this point, I think at some point you just want to play. You just want to play as a player. So so fair play. If that deal can be done, then that's fine. Much Bayern Munich are also rumored to be interested as well, but I think they've got sorry. Yeah, I think they've got Luis Diaz, so I don't think they will go all out to get him. So Manchester United obviously they've got the two sort of tens behind the striker in what's his face in Cunha and Mbuemo. So I don't think they're actually looking to get an Nkunku. But the thing is, Nkunku is also an option for Inter Milan because their move for what's his face didn't really. Thanks to the my football channel, smash the like button, guys. Smash the like button. I really appreciate that. So but Inter Milan are really interested in Nkunku. He has always been on their list. Ademola Lookman was their first choice, and the whole thing was if they were unable to get Ademola Lookman, then the next person they would look at is Christopher Nkunku. So you've got RB Leipzig flirting with Nkunku. You've got Bayern Munich vaguely interested. And of course, you've got Inter, which really interested him because he was second on their list. So let's see where he ends up. Also, let me know your opinions on that one. Also talked about Fofana and what he did on his IG, taking everything concerning Chelsea off his social media profile, off his IG page, which was for me a bit weird because why are you doing that anyways? I don't think you've played enough to fall out with Chelsea. You've not played enough to attract any interest from anybody. So or maybe has Maresca said something to him or what? Maybe I don't know, but I don't see the reason for you to be too irate because you haven't been available. You have all the ability in the world. Well, the fun is the ability to carry the ball from fullback forward, and he's one of the rare ones that can actually be that right wide player. I'm super comfortable there. So fair play. He is nice. He is nice to do, but he can play for 2-3 games and then the wind blows his ankle funny and then he's out. He's out for the season. So I don't see why he's making big noise about it. And then the only thing that really upset me, I'm really unhappy about, is this whole racial thing. Well, why do people always feel like they have to throw slaws at people? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like you can criticize someone and be respectful about it 100%. I don't quite understand that one. And then of course talk about Renato Veiga going on to join Villarreal. Record deal for the club, which is odd, 29.5 million euros, and Chelsea reportedly have a 40% sell-on clause, which is a good one. So either way, whether you buy him back or he's bought by another club, that means you're either saving money or making money. So that's good news for Chelsea all round. And Disasi reports that Bournemouth are interested in him. Now, while on the one hand, I'm super happy that he goes, so he can get game time to play there. But I just feel like it's a bit odd because Bournemouth, they usually play, this sort of high line. The defenders usually are good on the ball. They progress the ball. They carry the ball like, the Hoysen that they had before he joined. Real Madrid, he used to be one of those ones that would be on the ball, carry the ball, progress the ball. So going to get a Disasi who is like an orthodox old school centre back, feels like a strange one to me. But maybe, who knows, the coach may be trying to tweak how he plays and be a bit more defensive and rather hit on the counter than being as progressive as there's been. Maybe seeing that, the club isn't willing to splash that much cash on players. They've got Petrovic, so maybe I'd be more conservative in how I want to play. So maybe that's why there's reportedly interest in the Sassy. So let's see how does shake down. We're also talking about Nicholas Jackson, possibly, because we've heard reports from Honestin, we've heard reports from Fabrizio Romano that it's kind of over. That is over between Chelsea and Nicholas Jackson, that come the end of the season, he probably would leave. We've had interest from likes of Bayern, then on the list of Newcastle United, but it seems like Newcastle United are interested they have other options ahead of him, like Samu or Morodion. They have Wisa ahead of him as well. So maybe it's not someone that looking to that's the immediate priority. Aston Villa are interested, but Aston Villa are in a weird spot where they actually would have to sell players, despite the fact they have money. They actually have to sell players before they even think of making any sort of offer for Nicholas Jackson. And it could be one of those ones where it'll be an initial loan and then he ends up going back and then with an obligation to buy, maybe an obligation to buy without prejudice, which means you buy him irrespective of how he plays. He just goes on loan for this season, and then by 2026, 2027 season, you just buy him. There's no issue. There's no penalty to pay. You just sign the player, and I hope that's what Chelsea do with him. And I hope that's what Chelsea do if he ends up going on loan. Now, they talk about Garnacho as well. We did talk about Garnacho that probably he will be a Chelsea player pretty soon. This has been like a broken record. Sometimes people have really got upset at Fabrizio Romano, and I understand because he seems to tweet every day about Garnacho. He's almost joining for sure. Remember what I told you? And sometimes you're like, wow, can't you just keep quiet till it's done? But I get it. Everyone has to make their bread. And this transfer thing is Fabrizio's gig, and it's pretty legit and super accurate. So fair play to him. So, but if Garnacho comes, one thing is sure, that is the final nail in Nico Jackson's Chelsea's career, at least for now, because that means there's no spot available. The striker spot shut down, and the left wing spot will definitely be shut down. On the other side of things as well, that would then mean someone like Itari George will probably be headed out of the club. I don't want him to go because I feel like he's right there. I don't know. Some people have sort of manufactured this dislike for Tyreek George. I don't know where it has come from, and people keep doing things that are crazy to me. All right, like I don't have my ears open. Yeah, never have one in sort of jewelry on my ears or anything like that. But I understand that kids nowadays that's what they like to do, right? But the way people go in on Tyreek George, he's braided his hair, he wears earrings. Like, really? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? Can we stop? Can we stop? But for me, I feel like that being said, I feel he has the tools, he's got the pace, he's got the skill. I think he has more tools in his tool belt than Gittins. Some people may not agree to this, some people might disagree, and that is completely fine. 100% that's fine, because that's what football is all about. We see it differently, and I don't think I'll have it any other way, and that's how it should be. We are all humans, we have our own perception of things, but in my personal, humble opinion, I feel like Tyreek George has more tools in his belt than Gittins, and the only thing that puts Gittins above him is that Gittins has actually played more first minutes as he's gone out on loan to Dortmund. So I would have preferred a situation where you have Tyreek George still at the club and giving game time to play. But the thing is, with Garnacho coming, do you think Tyreek George even gets those cup games? Because I could see a point where if, let's say, Chelsea play a Champions League game, Gittins starts, Tyreek George could be the person to start the next Premier League game and Gittins come off the bench. Tyreek George could be the one to play in the FA Cup and League Cup games. But if you have a Garnacho, then you have to find a way to give him minutes. So the same thing I talked about Jackson when I was talking about Liam Delap and João Pedro. Once you sign a player in that season, there's pressure on you to play that player in that season, especially when no one is super established in that role, in that position. Like if you sign Xavi Simons right now, he's not going to bend Palmer because Palmer has super established his position in that 10 role, But for the left wing option, if you sign a Garnacho for even if it's £30 million, some people say Chelsea value Garnacho at £25 million. Even if it's £25 million, you are not going to put Tyreek George, a Cobham Academy graduate, ahead of him, despite his level of skill. I really rate Tyreek George highly. Now, for me, if Tyreek George is to leave Chelsea, it should be strictly a loan with prejudice, which means he goes there on loan and he returns. He goes there on loan and he returns. No buy option, no buy obligation, nothing. A pure, straightforward loan. That's it. We loan him to you, but he's still our player. Because I tell you, if he goes permanently, Chelsea will, would I say regret it? Yeah, Chelsea will kind of regret it. So I think maybe he goes on loan, no obligation to buy, or 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 I feel it's like something clogged in my throat. But it's life; it can happen. If he does go, Chelsea must have the right of first refusal and an actual very affordable buyback clause. Because can you imagine Tyreek George in the German Bundesliga, RB Leipzig, or Dortmund? Because they play with high lines there, they have balls pumped in very quickly to the wingers, and you allow him room to run 1v1 players steadily. He's going to smash records there. Believe me. Mark it down. If he goes to Dortmund, Leipzig, Frankfurt, any of those clubs, Stuttgart are actually gunning for the title, very few of them, or gunning for Champions League spots, those sort of clubs, he will absolutely crush it there. He will be super fantastic there. So that's something that Chelsea have to look at. And then, of course, still sticking with Bayern Munich. Still sticking with but German Bundesliga clubs. Of course, there's talk about Xavi Simons that is playing the game for RB Leipzig, versus Bayern Munich. And then after the game, he will join Chelsea, and then probably Chelsea will get it. Here we go, and then we as fans will get it. Here we go, very soon about him, which would be good because I think he's a very good player. And I just want to say, in this time, wouldn't you say Xavi Simons has been like the model professional? I think so. Because this is the era where you have Isak saying, I'm not even going to train with you. What I'll do is I'll go over to my former club and I'll train on their facility. Just like someone who is in a relationship say, you know what, I wouldn't even stay in the same room with you. I'll go and stay in the house of my ex. A bit weird, but that's what Isak has done. You've had as Vladimir Lukman taking off his everything concerning Atalanta from his IG page. Same thing with Visa has taken off his profile picture from Instagram and just put a black image, an image that no one can see what's on there on his Instagram handle. So I think Xavi Simons has been a very good professional. And then maybe on the flip side of things is because maybe the club has told him, don't worry, we are going to let you go to Chelsea. I think sometimes that's what causes all this when the club begins to be a bit too difficult with a player and saying, we are going to stand our ground, we're not letting you go. Or the player senses that the club is overvaluing him and pricing him out of a move. Then that might be like, okay, I've got to leave the club. So I get that much. So fair play, he has been good there, and hopefully he gets to join Chelsea. So speaking more on the Dortmund game, I'll talk about, and that's what I'll round up this live stream with. First of all, thank you so much for being here and watching and liking and sharing the video. It really does mean so much to me. Hopefully, we're praying, no, we can do it. Drive to 200 subscribers by the West Ham game. And so, first off for me, Cole Palmer should always start. He will always start. He should start. Estevao William for me, I feel he should start on the right. And then you've got your Pedro Neto. I think for me, he should start. Right now, he should start down the left. Gittins can come on second half, 20 minutes to go. And I think that should be the way. João Pedro should start. Delap can come in second half. And then, of course, midfield, I would love to see Esugo and Caicedo, but I know it will be Enzo and Caicedo. So, but I would rather prefer to see Andre Santos and Caicedo because Enzo looked really, really tired. He looked tired. Enzo Fernandez looked super tired in that game versus Crystal Palace. But a couple of days have passed, so maybe he's now fully fit and ready to go. Let's see what happens. And then for me, in the fullback positions, I will start with Reece James. Reece James will start there. And then, of course, centre-back positions, if Tosin is fit, I'll go with Tosin and Josh Achiampong. But if he isn't fit, then we have to stick with Chalobah and what's his face now, and Josh Archimpong. For me, I don't think Wesley Fofana should play because I think he's someone that you need to manage his minutes. And left back, would it be a good game to give Gerald Hato his first start? Maybe. Give him a start and let Cucurella rest for a bit. That could be a good game. West Ham have been absolutely poor this season, and Sunderland absolutely smashed them. Now, for me, Chelsea drop point at Crystal Palace, really, really disappointing for me that that Chelsea couldn't win that game. Sorry. So what I want to see now is you go one and you absolutely roast West Ham. That's what I want to see. No excuses. They have been poor. Their transfer business hasn't been that great as well. And I think Enzo Maresca is a better manager than Graham Potter. So Chelsea should go on to win that game. But don't forget, we'll be having a preview to the game on Friday. I hope you're around for that one as well. So at this point, we've come to the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for supporting this channel. And if you want to see me talk about other football stuff, not just Chelsea, you can also check out the Ugo Mad Football channel. But at this point, thank you so much for supporting Up Chelsea TV, Up Chelsea fans, and Up Chelsea Football Club. And I'll see you on yet another video. Stay well, stay blessed. Bye-bye.